Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into a report from Gores Holdings X Inc. And let me tell you, it's a spectacular beginning, but will it stick the landing? We're going to see if this blank check company can turn into a real treasure chest or if it's just false gold before we start. If you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below. Gores Holdings X Inc. just launched its IPO, which is initial public offering. They sold shares to the public to raise a bunch of money, over $350 million to be exact. They also did a side deal with their sponsor, raising a little bit more. All this money is sitting in a trust account, waiting for them to find a company to buy. But what does it all mean? And what are the possible roadblocks? That's what we will explore. So the big news is that on May 5, 2025, Gores Holdings X Inc. officially started its journey as a public company. This happened through something called an IPO, which is like a grand opening for a company to sell its shares to the public. They sold over 35 million units. Each unit gives you a share of the company, plus a chance to buy more shares later on with something called a warrant. All this selling of units brought in a whopping 1358 ton, $8 million. That's a lot of cash. Besides the IPO, there was also a private sale of shares to Gores Sponsor X LLC, which is basically the company's backer. This private sale brought in another 220.25 million. Think of it as extra funding from friends and family. Now, here's where things get interesting. All that money, the $358.8 million from the IPO and a small part of the private placement is sitting in a trust account managed by Computershare Trust Company. It's like a giant piggy bank waiting to be used, but it can only be used for certain things like buying another company. To make it official, the company released a balance sheet which is like a snapshot of their finances. It shows all the money they have now that they've completed the IPO and private placement. You can find this balance sheet as an exhibit in this report. Let's take a quick look. Okay, scrolling to the assets section, we see a breakdown of exactly where all that money is sitting. It's important to keep tabs on these figures because they show how much firepower the company has to make a deal. As we can see, Gores Holdings X Inc. have nearly zero cash and cash equivalents. The majority of their assets are held in the trust account. We can also see that the company has accumulated deficit, but because it's a SPAC, there are no revenues yet. And that's pretty much the overview of this 8K filing. It's all about the official start of Gores Holdings X Inc. as a public company, the money they raised, and where that money is being held. Now, what does this all mean? Well, Gores Holdings X is what's called a SPAC, or Special Purpose Acquisition Company. Essentially, they're a blank check company that raised a lot of money with the sole purpose of finding a private company to merge with and take public. They have a limited time to find a suitable target. If they don't, they have to give the money back to the investors. The Gores Group, which is behind this SPAC, has a track record of doing these deals, so they have experience. However, the SPAC market has been very volatile, with many companies struggling after going public through this route. So there is always risk. Looking at the numbers, the fact that almost all the money is sitting in a trust account gives investors some security. It means the money can only be used for an acquisition or return to them. However, the clock is ticking. They need to find a good company to buy, and the pressure to do a deal can sometimes lead to bad decisions. A key risk for Gores Holdings X is the current economic climate. Rising interest rates and market uncertainty can make it harder to find a good deal and can also impact the performance of the company they eventually acquire. Also, other SPACs are searching for companies, which increases competition for good targets. Overall, Gores Holdings X is off to a clean start. They've raised a significant amount of money and have a team with experience in SPAC deals. However, they face challenges in a tough market and need to find a suitable company to acquire within a limited time. The success of this SPAC will depend on their ability to find a good deal and execute it well. Alright, that's our breakdown of Gores Holdings X's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.